how to generate 250,000 leads per year with survey funnels and make 100K per month from one funnel. I'm Dan Wardrope and Nick Thackelell. Is that right, Nick?
Yep, that'll
Perfect.
do.
I always struggle with that. So it's a little joint webinar today. And yeah, as I said, I'll start and then we'll go with Nick a little bit later on. So, you know, I'm quite proud of the fact that I'm not just someone that is teaching the whole time. We make way more revenue from our agencies than we do from our Flexxable education program. So I'm in the thick of it every single day, learning, testing, trialing new stuff and figuring out how to generate more leads, better quality leads at a cheaper price. So every time, we learn something either from our students or from our clients. All that stuff is tested and trialed within our agencies, and we put that back into our education program. So it's forever evolving, and what we're trying to do here is create, the best agency pay per lead training in the world. And I think we're probably already there, but it's an evolving process. Probably best you talk about yourself here, Nick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. You can talk about me too. All right. So I founded Leadshook as a result of acquiring a business. My background's in investment banking, more in acquiring businesses and growing and selling. So I acquired a business and was trying to work out how to sell it. Came from a branding background. So from banking went to branding, and from branding to the online world. So most of the stuff that I do now in terms of how to run campaigns, it's more of an analytical focus.
Yep.
And with the primary goal is to grow the business.
So, I mean, how do you go from banking to designing software and generating, what you've done here? It's amazing to me. I mean, coding skills, nothing like that.
No, I got zero coding skills. Well, I read a lot of books. In the early days, I would hire one expert to do something and I'll hire another expert to check the other guy and vice versa. And that's how I kind of outsourced to make sure that they would, what was supposed to happen is what was actually happening. Because with software, if you don't have that background, then how are you going to possibly check what they're doing?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like how it started. But it was more necessity, more than the tech stuff. Because I learned very early on that just learning more about your customers and then projecting that into your promotions and your pitch and your copy will just result in more conversion. It was kind of simple. What wasn't simple was how do you put it together so it happens at scale every time, and that's what resulted in Leadshook. I mean, we can all make one funnel with a programmer, but then try changing it and making another 10 after that, and you'll kind of pull your hair out. Yeah. So that's what so that's the solution Leadshook provides, is that you can kind of scale that part of everything, the creation aspect, the execution aspect of making funnels. Becomes much easier and much faster.
It's a crazy journey. It's not the typical journey. Usually people start from kind of like me, affiliate marketing, underground kind of warrior tactics and doing SEO and all types of stuff. You've kind of come from a corporate background and built Leadshook that way, complete opposite to my journey. About probably 2015, 2016, I was trying to find developers and people with a kind of marketing background that would be able to build some quizzes for us, because I was looking at what our competitors were doing, some of the big players out there, and they had quiz funnels, and I was like, how do they do this? And I started reaching out to developers and coders, and I was putting jobs out on Upwork, etc. And it would sometimes take 4 or 5 weeks or even longer to be able to build the simplest quiz. And by the time it was built, what happened is it was out of date and we wanted to add new questions or new arms to that quiz. And it started, just becoming a complete nightmare. So I was introduced to Nick by a guy called Mike Rhodes from Web Savvy. And Flex Digital, my agency in the UK, was I believe one of Leadshook's for earliest customers.
Number two.
Number 2. And we've grown with Nick, and I'll be brutally honest, Leadshook has changed my agency completely. Okay, so whereas we were doing leads and selling on a pay per lead basis before, once we brought Leadshook into the equation, it changed my agency forever. And we've been able to do a lot of leads and do a lot of cool stuff that not many of our competitors have been able to do, because they haven't got this kind of machine in the background that's working. so well for us. And we've delivered over 500,000 leads to clients through Nick's software on a pay per lead basis. And one of the greatest things that comes with Leadshook is the customer support. It seems Nick never sleeps. He is always there to help us and give us, amazing advice, just not on the technical stuff, but also on the marketing stuff, and really giving us some good advice on how our funnels and quizzes can work better and get cheaper leads and attract a broader audience, for example. And simply put, we couldn't do pay per lead without Leadshook. It's been a great tool. It might sound crazy when I'm talking to you guys and you're hearing that we're doing 500,000 leads or we've done 500,000 leads through Leadshook and we're making 100 grand a month from one funnel. But it's not really just, it's us. It's not just us. This can be done by anyone. So this is one of the people who's joined our program, and it's a little testimonial. He's using Leadshook, and they've increased, like, he's in one industry, one vertical, one funnel, and they've increased the number to 365 leads a day. And he's struggling to get that at this stage. But by the end of the year, they want to get to 10,000 leads per month. Do you think this is possible to get those sort of numbers during office hours only? And I think, Nick, you were telling me the other day that you've got a client that did 9,000 leads in an hour. So these type of numbers are achievable, and gone are the days of having to design and pay a programmer a lot of money to build an amazing funnel for you. You can do this yourself very quickly. All you need is the right type of client and the right type of offer, and things happen from there. So let's go back to basics, the old way versus the new way. So the old way, and I think this probably comes from a lot of the AdWords stuff, right? So marketers started with AdWords maybe 10 years ago, and they showed ads in Google search, and then they sent the traffic to a landing page, right? And that was the way to generate a lead. And that still works on AdWords, because that's an intent-based search. People know what they're looking for, and they're looking to become a lead basically off the back of that. Okay. So it works for AdWords, but what we saw, and I still see it today in my newsfeed all the time, is that marketers are coming on board and advertising in the Facebook platform, and they're still sending their traffic to a landing page that looks like this one on the right. And it's just madness. It just doesn't work anymore. And if you are doing this, then you need to find a better solution, which is survey and quiz funnels, because you're able to segment. It's easy to get leads, and you can find out a lot more information about the prospect as they hit that landing page. So what we do now, people see this ad, they click through with a see if you qualify call to action, and you can see here like a template landing page where they're asked a series of questions where we can take micro commitments through this funnel until I get to the end, and then we show that then they become a lead. It's just a much easier way and a much cheaper way to generate leads. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about today as well is that results pages work for us. This is a big part of our strategy. All right. So here is what we call a results page funnel. So going back to the previous step, we create an ad on Facebook, and the call to action is see if you qualify. And then people, and by the way, we build all of our funnels on the Unbounce platform, which is a drag and drop landing page builder. And it works well with Leadshook. We can embed the quiz into that landing page, and it's very easy to create beautiful looking funnels with no coding skills. All right, so what we do is we create an ad. We have a quiz like we've got that asks if they qualify, and then we take them to a page on Unbounce that says, yes, you qualify, or you do not qualify, okay? And that's the third step in this process. What happens then is that people are excited. They become, motivated to become a lead because they've told they've been qualified for a solution, and that could be, a loan, or it could be car finance, or it could be a debt consolidation, or it could be life insurance. It could be anything really. So what happens is it's a really good way to generate leads at volume with this results page between the thank you page. All right. And what happens is that if you go back to step 2 in this funnel, is that you can actually find a lot of data about this person during this quiz funnel. So that will be, you know, we'll find out whether or not they're employed, whether or not what their age, their gender, or anything like that, anything you want to ask. So what you can do then is create a bespoke landing page, results page, which speaks to their prospect in their language. All right. So it could be, you could have 5 or 6 different results pages based off the answers that you're given in step 2. And this has really been a game changer for us. I mean, Nick, you can probably talk to us about how you pull that data through to the results page and how easy it is these days.
Yeah, basically it's just putting custom fields into the URL, and then Unbounce grabs that. But then any landing page builder or any decent one will do that too. You can do it in WordPress, Instapage, all the rest of them as well. So essentially, what you're doing is you're passing what you learn about someone out as into the URL, into the exit URL inside Leadshook. So all Leadshook is being used for here in this specific example is a way to grab the data about who this person is and what are they looking for and what area they live in, all that sort of stuff. So that way, when you pass it to the next page, which is the Unbounce page, it populates the various custom fields that have been placed on the field or on the page. So it looked like, hi, you qualify for you know, a resident of London, you qualify for an extra benefit of, and you can put the dollar amount and all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's extremely powerful. And then, of course, after the results page, we ask for their details. They become a lead, and then they hit the thank you page, which can also be personalized. So I wanted to talk about what a sexy quiz landing page looks like, survey landing page, if you're Nick. So, and this is really quite simple, guys, because we've tested a lot of stuff over a long time. And, you know, what you see here on the left is a very simple page, which has a nice headline, and it's got a simple and clean white background with contrasting colors, which are easy to read. And there's only one thing to do on that page, and that is to complete the quiz or survey. And one thing we've learned is to dangle the carrot, tell them what they can achieve or qualify for in a dollar amount, if possible. Okay, you need to also have good trust factors. For example, that it's a secure landing page. I'm sure a few of you guys have seen like an as seen on type thing. So if this website has been seen on, you know, CNN or, you know, whatever website that this brand has been advertised on, then you can put those trust factors up there. Those are the little 3, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but the 3 dots up the top here. You've got the logo, which is on the left-hand side, and then the gray boxes where the quiz goes in, and then some benefits and features below there, and a button at the bottom, which they scroll through, and if they click on that, they go back up to the top. And there's, you know, this is basic stuff. If you and this is what you can do if you've got no testimonials or, you know, anything like that. But if you have got testimonials and Trustpilot reviews, then obviously you can add those in different sections below the fold. But we find a lot of people don't even bother going below the fold, and they can just do it above the fold, and they start the quiz straight away. And this funnel here is probably, yeah, it's well over 500-600 leads a day for us at the moment in one vertical. So it's very simple, very easy. And, you know, I almost feel like anyone can do this, and you can. Okay. So the type of ads that work to a quiz lander or a funnel lander, survey lander, is basically any type of ad. Okay, so short copy, the one on the left, it's an example of a Canadian ad we're running at the moment, a Canadian agency. And then you've got long copy, more like the type of ads that many of you seen of my type of ads, where they're, you know, 1,000+ words. Okay, you get them excited. The click-through rate is, the click-through rate all is very high. The actual cost per link click is high as well. But when they're motivated to click through and see if they qualify, then it's actually a super cheap way to deliver leads. And one other thing that's working extremely well for us at the moment, and you guys should test it, is dynamic creative. Okay, so take what ad copy what images, what angles, and what hooks are working for you, and supercharge that. Create 10 similar variations of each and get 10 new images up there, and turn dynamic creative on, point to a quiz, and watch what happens. We've seen our cost per lead halved. Okay. Facebook is getting very, very good at optimizing. Okay. So moving on to our 100K per month funnel. Okay. And this is going to surprise you guys. It's the same as what I've just showed you. Okay. With a little tweak at the end. We have an ad to a quiz, to a results page, to a thank you page, but we segment at this point in time. And Leadshook has an option to be able to segment as well. We use some software because we're doing a lot of volume, and maybe Nick can talk about this in a little bit, but what happens is that 500 leads come into our funnel per day, all right? And we have 3 clients that buy those leads on a pay per lead basis, okay? And we have another 3 clients that sit at the bottom of that funnel, and we send those leads on a back-end basis, if that makes sense. So 6 clients from the same funnel, clients A, B, C pay us per lead, and they get the best leads, okay? Out of those 500, there could be 250 of those that, based on the criteria within the quiz, i.e. they're employed, they're homeowners, they're, you know, the best quality leads that have the highest chance of converting, which is why we have a quiz funnel. And then at the bottom, the other 200 leads that are not so good leads go to the subprime market, who are able to convert those on a back-end basis, if that makes sense. So as I said, how does it work? 500 leads per day, 1 funnel, 1 advertising account, and we make a decent profit from the prime leads, but the subprime leads are where the cream is, because it's so easy to land clients that are willing to take leads on the back end, right? They've got no risk. Yes, they may not work them as well as you would like, but if you reach out to a client in some of these verticals and ask if they're willing to take a couple of 100 leads per day, real-time web leads, they're just going to bite your arm off. It's a no-brainer, okay? And we use GetCake as our distribution tool, which is an expensive bit of software. We're a big agency, and it makes sense for us to kind of automate that, and it has some major advantages. But Leadshook also has a solution, right? Nick, why don't you talk us about that?
Yeah, so what you can do inside Leadshook is I'll be showing this in a slide, which I'll cover, called the decision node, which essentially allows you to put logic in. So you can say leads captured for postcode, 90210 or whatever the UK postcodes are, or
Yep.
specific area, state or country. You want to push them over to who are, but then they also have got requirements for, let's say, debt or insurance of a specific number or specific type.
Yep.
And you can basically create different paths using the logic, and then you can just attach a webhook at the end of it. So, yep. so as the leads get split, they automatically get transferred to different clients based on something simple like a decision node to filter the leads out into the various groups and categories.
Yep.
And then a webhook which pushes it out to the client system. It could be something as simple as Zapier, could be a Google Sheet, because not all clients are going to be sophisticated. Those that aren't, maybe they just want to get the leads in Google Sheets. So you can send it straight through to a Google Sheet or any other third-party CRM or email marketing system.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, if we go back a slide, we're talking about something that's very simple here. Okay, all you need is the right type of client and the right type of industry. And we've done a couple of webinars over the last couple of months, which explains exactly how we do that as an agency, okay? So it's theirs for the taking. It's yours for the taking, guys. All right, so we're going to hand over to Nick now, and I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit about this.
Okay, cool. So the first thing I wanted to speak about, and this is the most common mistake that I see, is something like this, where the ad is almost informational in nature. Like, hey, we've got $1 billion or whatever it is, $2 billion in equity release loans. But when you click it, immediately they assume that you've got a cash flow problem and you want to put your property on the line or something of that sort. And then immediately they're asking you for the address. If you look, that's too much of a jump between what the ad is saying and what the lander is saying. And
Yep.
so the first thing I normally, in most of the reviews that I do, and I've done well over 1,500 by now, that's the easiest fix, is just aligning the messaging to become extremely congruent, firstly, and secondly, don't jump so much. Like this is too big a jump to get response. It's almost like, well, I thought I was just gonna learn about equity release, but here you are asking for my address. We're not quite there yet. And so that's at the macro level. At the micro level, which I'm going to cover as we go through how do you structure or sequence the decision tree of the quiz funnel questions, also makes a big difference. So Gene Short's, if you haven't read the book, it's just chapter 2 or 3, which is the state of product awareness and the state of market sophistication. So normally when I'm doing the done for you work that we do, is I'll look at the market, and after doing some research, you try and work out where is most of the spectrum sitting. Now, product aware, which is that orange column on the right-hand side, that's where people are going to convert. That's because I know enough about you, I know you, like you, and trust you to give you my details. But based on the ads that you're running, you can actually grab people, because your ads are essentially a conversation that's happening, or you're intercepting people as they are going through their Facebook feed, and your ad is essentially interrupting into the conversation. And so how you write the ad and what you say in the ad will mean that you're grabbing people at different parts of the funnel. And if you jump too soon, you're going to end up with what we saw in the first slide, which was a generic ad about equity release, and next thing you know, you're asking for someone's personal details, and that's just not going to happen. So essentially, now you're segmenting by what people resonated with across the buying continuum. You're using that to build audiences, and you're also learning, because they're giving you different answers. Different people across the different segments or the buying continuum or the product awareness spectrum will give you different answers. And then what you're trying to do is see who's converting when. And that gives you your ability to now build custom audiences. So here the audiences are not being built just on who converted, but who converted and what do they look like. So you're creating micro audiences, and then you let Facebook do its magic, or Google, or whoever it be that you're using for traffic. Yep. So so using your first round to learn about your customers. Second round is who's converting and why do they convert. Those who don't convert, you can put them into negative audiences or yep. negative lookalike audiences, and remove most of those people. Now your bidding ends up becoming essentially, I'm just going to bid whole of UK. They need to look like these people, and they don't need to look like this group of people. And then you just let your traffic then you let Facebook and Google, whoever you're using, do their work.
So you're almost using Leadshook as a retargeting. I know that sounds weird, but a retargeting tool within the quiz.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's while most people, what they're doing, they're saying this is who converted, but they may have converted across many different spectrums, because people buy for more than one reason. That's what you're trying to find out, is why did this person buy? If I just grab everybody who bought a product into one group, that's essentially saying that everybody bought for the same reason, but that's not true. Some people may have bought because, they want to save their family. Some may have bought because they, for whatever reason. So you're trying to understand what are the nuances of the language that is being used, what is the different conversations that are taking place, and what are the subsegments, the emotional subsegments in the market. And that's what you want to go and bid on, because that's when you start getting 40-50% click-through rates on your ads, because you're subsegmenting inside the converted data. So we've got our 5 levels of product awareness. So if you want to grab people at the unaware phase, which is where, so the left-hand side, which is unaware, problem aware, and solution aware, they're not quite ready to convert yet, okay? Which is why I've got that thing there for advertorial. I've got my X's there to say that for those segments, if you're running ads in those categories, in that part of the spectrum, you will want to use an advertorial, because a little bit more conversation needs to take place, a little bit more teaching needs to take place, a little bit more value creation needs to take place before they are ready to give you their details. And they may even need more nurturing, right? So not always, but just kind of, while if you grab someone on the offer side, well, there's really not much to say there anymore, except, I've got 50% off buy now, because they know everything they need to know. It's more your Boxing Day sale, your Cyber Monday, Black Friday, all that sort of stuff. Or your audience is so sophisticated. But here's the thing, everybody is after the offer leads. That's why they're very expensive on that side. And those are the leads like, click now and give me your details because you want to go see a financial planner. Well, yeah, because everybody's going to go for those leads because obviously they're hot. But the bulk of the volume in most markets is sitting to the left of that. And no one goes after those people because obviously they require a little bit more work. And they require a little bit more of an intelligent decision tree. They require a few more ads. And so we'll go through that on the next slide. To start out with, what I would normally tell people to do is create your 5 ads. So 5 ads around those 5 different levels of awareness. Once again, those are just discrete levels. They actually don't exist in the marketplace, right? That's just a way to think about where people are. And since it was good enough for Gene Schwartz, it's good enough for me. And so we created the 5 ads around those ones. I think I've got similar to those headlines that I'd created across the 5 levels of awareness. That would be your 5 headlines. You just make one decision tree. There's no need to go overboard by making, because it's the positioning of the decision tree that matters, and you're positioning decision tree using those 5 ads and 5 headlines. And then you just go live and you start building the data. So that's the very first step. I find too many people get caught up on the decision tree part and the headline part when all you want to do is create the same landing page, make 5 variations thereof. Just make sure that the ads, the angle and the pitch of the ads matches the headline. In some cases, you just want to repeat the headline if you're really lazy, and just embed the same decision tree and start building the data. And you're going to find that immediately there's going to be some traction somewhere along the funnel. And you're like, oh, cool. The way I'm getting a lot of action right now is leads that are coming through in the solution aware phase or something. And then great, now you know what to do. Okay, well, let me adjust my advertorial a little bit to be more solution oriented. And then you see what's happening. And that's how you do essentially your campaign management and improving of your campaigns is first go wide and see where the action is, and then start going deep.
Cool.
And then iterate. Okay, cool. So this is what a decision tree looks like. It essentially, if you've built many chatbots, that sort of thing, that's what essentially is what you're doing. You're dragging and dropping your questions and answers. Those yellow ones you see, I'll cover them shortly. They're basically logic nodes where you can build a conditional logic to see where you want to go. So in this one, a non-financial example, it's a health one, where based on the answers you gave, it would redirect you to an affiliate offer, everything from kidney offer on the left-hand side, there's vertigo, there's diabetes, I think, there's high blood pressure and something else rather. And whoever didn't have any health problems, we redirected them to numerology. I figured if you already paid for the lead, you might as well make something out of it, right? So once again, this is a toned down version of what was done in a real campaign. That question has got 19 conditions or symptoms that you tick, which means that one question in itself had about 500,000 market segments sitting in this one decision tree. Yeah. And so once you grab the data, all of a sudden you can do a lot with it, including your responder copy. So here's the other, sorry, I forgot to mention that. When you're grabbing all the data, you're pushing all the custom fields, and you could grab easily 20, 30 custom fields, and you're pushing all the data back into your email marketing system or your CRM, which means now when you're firing off your CRM, you're just not having a generic conversation. You can actually put a lot of those custom fields into your email copy and make it highly personalized. And I've got an example of that. Here, what we've got is a decision tree where we're using the logic node right at the top, where we segmented the traffic based on the source. So people on Facebook go to the left-hand side, people on Google go to the right-hand side. And so that's once again in the one decision tree. So I'm splitting traffic based on where they're coming from. So you could pass custom fields via your URL parameters when you exit URLs or your UTM parameters on Facebook or Google or any other network for that matter. And based on what you pick, you can actually have logic sitting there saying, cool, anyone who comes with a UTM source equals Google, send them in this direction. Anyone who comes from Facebook goes in this direction. And you'd kind of start learning all this stuff out after you start bidding on Facebook and Google all at the same time. And you start realizing, well, hang on a second, my Google traffic needs much more nurturing. My Facebook guys don't need as much nurturing. And so you can start optimizing even at the traffic level, if that makes sense. Okay. Wow. Just wanted to show as a wild example. This is, I do not recommend this. This is, but if your brain works like this, knock yourself out. This was not done by me. It was done by someone in the Flexxable group, actually. Yeah. And I said, wow, it's a work of art. And it's taking personalization to the nth degree. And if this is, So I guess as an example, I'm just showing that if you're really crazy and you want to be extremely technical in a highly competitive market and you want to do personalization to the nth degree, knock yourself out.
This is what you can do.
Yeah. So it's not something to aspire to, right? Something's wrong with you. You do it.
Is this Greg? Was this Greg that did this? Was this Greg?
No, this was Winston.
Winston. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Personalized
Right,
results. Let's chat about that.
Right. Yeah. So what Leadshook allows you to do is you can grab the data, which is great. And I guess, any other platform can do that as well. But you can actually grab the data now and dynamically generate a lot of content inside Leadshook as a result of grabbing the content. So I can make a chart out of the numbers I may have picked up about what you desire. I can do calculations on the fly. So mortgage calculations, nuclear reaction time, whatever you want. You can dynamically generate sales letters. You can dynamically generate lead magnets with calculations and charts. So I've got guys in the US in the financial planning space where what they're delivering is personalized financial reports, which are previously they were using Word or kind of sitting down there and spending hours of their life. We've just broken it all out into the various components, and Leadshook pieces it together on the fly. And even as a PDF, I've got one guy who's actually charging for personalized plans in the US. And I think he works with high net worth individuals. Rather than charging them $4,000, he's brought the price down to about $1,000. As a result, he's grabbed most of the traffic in the market. But people don't know that it's actually dynamically generated by Leadshook on the fly. The secret is not to deliver the PDF right away because you lose credibility. So it's a real thing. Essentially, he's taken all the reports he's ever done and kind of, pieced it together and broken them up into the various pieces that if someone says, that this is how much shares they have in the portfolio or the investments, then this is what I need to say. This is how the calculations would work. And so he spent a bit of time to reverse engineer what he was doing so he could codify it. Yep. And then we've just taken the codification version and put it inside Leadshook, and as a result, it's dynamically generated now. Yeah. And so you can do personalized PDFs now. Just make sure you don't deliver it right away because it lacks credibility, right? It's like I'm going to give you a personalized report in 30 seconds. It doesn't sound. In fact, I should mention one more use case. I've got guys who are using it internally. So if you've got teams and you want to have some sort of a dynamic checklist of what you're doing before you go live, so say a campaign or something, you can actually build it out inside Leads because all it is a decision tree, right? It's like, well, what market are you looking at? Okay, well, have you done the AdWords campaign? Okay, well, if you've done AdWords, then this is the checklist you need to follow. And you can actually essentially just build it out in a decision tree. I've got guys in call centers who are using it to help their call center people when they've got a difficult client and it's a question that's not asked frequently. They fire up a decision tree and they go through that, and the decision tree tells them what to say. Yep. Right. So plenty of there are plenty of the use cases apart from just the lead gen aspect of the technology. So end of the day, Leadshook is just a tool that allows you to create pathways, and then the data you grab, you can use that data in other ways. And now, of course, the obvious use case that most of us are here for is lead gen, but that could be used in any other case as well. I mean, if you want to prepare, I don't know, a recipe for dinner, you could use Leadshook for that if you wanted to. Yeah. Okay, so this one here, once again, personalized results. What we're doing here is we're dynamically calculating a loan repayment in the chatbot version that we've got inside Leadshook. So here we've grabbed the person's, how much they want to borrow, what period they want to pay it over, and based on the current interest rates, you've got 3,600 of a monthly payment. So you can dynamically do calculations, and that will come in handy when you're doing a lead gen now. So rather than saying, hey, we're going to give you the cheapest loan, we can say, well, let's calculate what your savings are. So let's do a comparison. Right. So personalization path. So here, we're going to refer back to the fact that you want to be extremely relevant. So if someone says a startup, then they get, a question about, have you started the business yet? If it's a female and let's say in the fashion market, you want to start asking about shoes or bags, but the person says that they're a guy, then you want to ask them about, boats and cars or something of that sort. So I guess you can make your questions appear to be a conversation. And that essentially is the power principle here is you want to be extremely relevant, and you can be relevant because of the answers you're picking up. Yep. Awesome. Right. Ultra personalization. So you can do this as on your next question. So first name as a 40-year-old man with diabetes. So imagine if you grabbed someone's name, age, gender, and the health problem, and you ask them a question with all of those put back in. Essentially, you're personalizing so much the questions that it just feels like you're talking to someone, and that as a result drops conversions, increases conversions, stops dropouts through your decision tree. And then what you can do is at the bottom, I've got the decision path there, which you can actually build that to build separate paths and take them down totally different directions inside your decision tree as another level of personalization. Okay, emotionalization. So this I don't see anyone doing, but you should be doing, especially in your left brain markets, your finance, insurance, that kind of a thing, where you can ask them, in order to achieve your financial goals of, let's say, $10,000 per month, I'm prepared to, if you were doing real estate, this is from a real estate one where we calculated on dynamically that there was going to be $400 in extra money as a result of executing a specific real estate strategy. We said, well, what are you going to do with the income? So you're going to think like, play more golf, spend more time with the family. So you want to start getting them connected to what is the reason why they're doing this. Most of the time, everyone's in a rush to say, what's your name, what's your email, what's your address, like essentially the data points the client is asking for, but it doesn't have to be every data points about the client. You can also make the data point about the customer or about the lead and give them a better experience as to why are they doing this. And with an extra data point, you can then start do personalization as well on your final results pages, because you've just learned that this person wants to play more golf. Well, maybe you can drive them to a page with a picture of someone playing golf in the background or something. So you can do many other things here. Right. So the challenge frame, this is what you were referring to earlier, Dan, which is kind of forget about the free quote, the fast quote, all that sort of stuff. You issue a challenge, not directly, of course. It opens the loop. It starts a conversation. So assess your current insurance policy, calculate how much money you're missing, compare your current lender, how many mistakes are you making, how much money are you bleeding. And so basically, I'm challenging you to assess whatever's happening in your life right now, as to is it really the best outcome. And that's a far better way of saying, hey, just give me your name and email and I'll get you, the best loan, because everybody's doing that. All right, we have real-time data verification and validation. So email, phone, address. Also, you can reject people at the node. So you can say, wrong number, type again. Or you can just let them through and you've identified them as being a bad lead or a spam lead or whatever it be, and you just discard them before you distribute them to your client. So
don't tell them.
The one. But just don't tell them, because sometimes what's going to happen is if you say, if in some markets you say, oh, this is a bad number, they'll just give you the local police station's number or something, or their cousin's number. And end of the day, still a bad lead. And so needlessly, you end up sending them over to your client, and your client's like, well, he's not picking up, or they're like, who the hell are you? It prevents that sort of situation. If you've identified that they're a bad lead, then just discard them, but don't ask them to correct it, because they're going to be a bad lead anyway.
That's cool, because I mean, a lot of you people listening to this call have got experience running ads, and you're probably working on a retainer basis for clients. And I remember back in the day when we were doing this, we'd be running traffic for, a car finance company or a car seller or something like that. And we'd be driving traffic to their landing page, and we'd be getting them leads, and then they'd be coming back and saying, Dan, we're only getting, 40% contact rates from these leads, and we've got 30% of these leads are actually wrong numbers. And we're like, that's not our fault. But, in fact, it would have just taken us to be able to build a landing page in Unbounce, embed something like Leadshook, and have all of this data verification going through, and it would have supercharged the campaign. These guys, as clients, don't understand that these solutions are out there. And we have their ability now with software like Unbounce and software like Leadshook to be able to just supercharge and create such better quality marketing than what we're previously used to. So if you're listening to something like this and that kind of resonates, then this is the solution. This is the answer. Makes such a big difference.
Cool.
Okay.
Right. So lead distribution, I think we spoke a bit about that, where you can actually, create zip codes and health problems and any other way that your clients are requesting or that you want to distribute to, which means from the one decision tree, you can send them to 20 clients, 50 clients, as many clients as you want, basically. And so what that does, it allows you to not build like 50 decision trees. You can just build one and just distribute everybody out at the same time. So it's a massive time saver. So
if you ask their town or their zip code, then you can distribute accordingly from there. So
correct.
For example, a lot of people, when they're running campaigns, have a campaign, like in Facebook, for example, I'll have a campaign per location or a campaign per client. And this way you just need one campaign and drive all the traffic to one funnel, and then you can distribute like that. Very cool. All right.
Okay, so there's 6 ways to distribute out. Direct integrations. This is, MailChimp, GetResponse. We've got about 6 of those. You can Zapier. We've got webhooks. You got email notifications, so you can email directly out of Leadshook, but through your email server. So that way, you essentially doing white label emailing out, but it's outcoming. Leadshook is connecting with your mail server and sending the leads out. API, which is if you want to go crazy and do fancy stuff, and if you've got a program on board, do that. And lastly, we've got, let's say, for example, something fails, Zapier went down or whatever, you can just export the CSV and transfer the leads that way to your client. So so the leads are never lost, basically, is what I'm saying. And they're available for you at all times to remove at your leisure. Just want to share with you, like you can use it on the front end stuff and also on the back end. So you can, let's say if you are someone who's selling a product, or you've got clients who are selling products and you want to enhance the experience with the product, you can have a decision tree sitting on the thank you page where you learn a bit more about who these people are and why did they buy. So that once again, a little bit more customer research, so you can better your campaigns again. Alternatively, you can have a customized plan. So in the case of, let's say you bought the Flexxable course, Flexxable might create a decision tree where they assess your current skills and seeing, well, are you really, have you done Facebook before? Have you done tracking before? Have you used Google Tag Manager before? And based on that, they could say, okay, cool, based on your current level of expertise, your current level of competency, we want you to do module 1, 2, and 3 first, while everybody else can move on to module 3 or 4 or whatever it be. So you can start using it for other ways to enhance the usage of the product, because that affects the lifetime value of the customer. The best way to increase the lifetime value of the customer is to get the customer to consume the damn product. And this is one way to do it.
Cool.
Right. So these are the markets that I've got Leadshook currently running in. I ran out of space, so there's a few more. Essentially, kind of, it's B2B, B2C. We've got campaigns working for governments as well. There are really not too many markets that we haven't used Leadshook in, and that way, So if you've got a market we haven't spoken about, yes, we can do it, or most likely we can do it, I should say. Results that you can get. So this person made a decision tree in a weird market about where they, I don't know, tie horses or something. I don't know what the market's called, but anyway, it's quite lucrative, and he was getting 30% opt-in with 24 data points. So he was making people go through 24 different questions, and most people will tell you can't do that. Well, you can if you run through the level of market sophistication and product awareness, where you're really hitting the target quite well and speaking to their problems they're currently having. Yeah, it's a bit like, a cancer patient going to the doctor, and the doctor says, I'm sorry, I can only ask you one question. No, obviously you'd want the doctor to go through any number of questions. And that's the same thing. It's about ensuring that you align their interest well in the pre-framing of the decision tree, and you can make them go through many nodes. That's one on the right-hand side there. They get about, I don't know, about 100,000 leads a month at a 50% opt-in, and it's got about 18 to 20 questions.
Wow.
In case you're worried about performance, hey, is this going to fall over like some other big softwares that you might know of? Starts with a click. And we've got guys who've done 14,000. This person does 10 to 15,000 quite regularly. This is one of his funnels where it's 15,000 in a day. They've also done up to 9,000 in an hour. So
wow.
we scale.
Wow.
All right, just the offer. Made it very special for you guys. There's really no extra payments to do. It's just a normal sign-up thing. Essentially, you get a 1 hour with me. We go through your business. If you just go through the next slide, well, I'll cover through what we're going to do. So essentially, I go through this and make sure that you're ready to go down this journey. What is your level of persuasion, analytics, marketing, traffic, systems, people, the technical skills. We have training for most of these things, and where we can direct you as to what to do. Because at the end of the day, in order to be able to, work at this volume, you'll need a course like Flexxable, where they teach you the technical aspects of it. But we also have, users who are not on Flexxable or work in other markets. And for them, we've also created other training, but that training is available to you as well. So you can grab that. Plus we get an hour with me where we go through and I answer your questions. You have the hour with me. You can use it however you want. We can talk about, I don't know, how to sell your business if you want to, whatever you want. Yeah.
Amazing. So this is one-on-one time with you.
This is one-on-one. This is not outsourced to anybody. This is me.
Yep.
All right.
And you only get this through,
basically through
the link that we've got here. Okay.
Correct. Now, so when people pay me for strategy calls, they walk away with More than marketing, and almost always it's more than marketing, because I came to marketing after having done a whole lot of other stuff. So and then have learned tech along the way. So there's not too many problems I have in business that I haven't seen when it comes to scaling and growing, is everything from lead gen to hiring and firing people and raising money and all sorts of stuff. So essentially you get the full package when you come talk to me, and you can kind of bring whatever you have to the table. And sometimes, solutions are not lead generation related at all. It may be that you just need to find another team member. I can show you how to, recruit people at scale. We've got a whole bunch of courses as well, which you get for free when you join up. Just a couple of things. We've got people who've changed their entire business models by having gone through our training program. We've got Sarah there, who just went through one presentation, got a ton of value out of it. And training is outstanding, just letting you know. We get these sort of messages quite frequently that the training is making a lot of difference, because I do cover everything from ground zero. I assume you know nothing. And so if that's you, by all means, consume whatever you can consume. Yeah. So this one here is cold prospecting that works. I worked on a project with a cold prospecting guy. They work for, large Fortune 500 types. And we came up with a way in which it's just taking their cold prospecting through the roof. He charges clients 5 to 10K. I'm going to be giving it away for free. Nice. Right. So yeah. So essentially, this goes up and above what Dan teaches in his course about how to do cold prospecting. This is a totally different strategy, you get it for free. But this one here, I'm going to remove for anyone who doesn't sign up in the next 24 hours. So this one's too valuable.
Interesting. Okay.
Cool. Support, right. And support is marketing. Yeah. It's a personal belief of mine, which is that that support is what gets you more customers, and that is absolutely true. We actually, for a company that helps a lot of you guys doing lead gen, we don't do much ourselves, actually. Hardly any, actually. I do run some ads every so often, but pretty much it's people, because of the experience they've had with the support team, of which I am one. They end up just saying, hey, listen, forget about dealing with anybody else. There may be better software out there, but you're just not going to have someone who stands next to you or with you to get you the outcome that you want. And that's what I focus on. I support people like how I want to be supported. And that's basically what it is. Once again, people just randomly posting stuff, about the good things about the experiences they've had with us. And that's basically what the offer is, that, if you work with me, you get me. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to get some guy in some other country trying to answer your question. Yep.
It's I don't think it's going to be around forever as this keeps on growing.
No, because we're scaling. That's right. All right.
And I can personally vouch for the support that you get through Nick. It's like the best I've ever seen. And that's no word of a lie. Anyway, Nick, I'd like to thank you as well. It's been
no problem, man. Yeah, no,
been
awesome.
epic, really good stuff. I'm excited about what you guys are doing over there at Leadshook, and I look forward to many more years of collaboration and using your software.
No, we've got new stuff coming soon, so we're gonna blow your mind. So anyway, and we keep improving the product's improving on a daily basis, guys. So it's not like hey, we built it 3 years ago and I'm just sitting on it. No. Every day we are in it, improving it.
Sweet.
All right, guys.
All right,
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dan.
No problems, mate. I'll end it here. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
I really hope you've enjoyed this video with about Leadshook today. It's just an insanely good tool. The best customer service I've ever had. Nick is just a great guy. I don't think he ever sleeps. He's just an absolute machine. What he's building is really, truly special. And I think you should definitely check it out. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like so we know to create more content like this. If you've got any questions about Leadshook, please type in the comment section below. And finally, please subscribe to our channel so you'll be the first to know when we create new content. And also, before you go, we've got a game plan on how to create a pay-per-lead agency without any ad spend whatsoever. It's really good stuff. There'll be a link somewhere in this video. Click it and you'll really enjoy it. Please let us know if you do. Take care.